Hey, welcome Facebook Live. This is Scumbassador Stephanie Buckley, and I've got the privilege and honor to be here and host today a special Facebook Live with Renaldo de Silva. He's joining us from South Africa from his shop, the Clipper Club. So, welcome, Ronaldo, and go ahead, take it away.
Hey, what's up, guys? As Stephanie said, thank you very much, Stephanie. My name is Renaldo de Silva. Today, I'll be giving you the display of how to do the Vanguard, the Reuzel Way, our way. I'm excited to do it. It's my first live with the team, so let's take it away. Um, yeah, so a little bit about myself. When I spray the hair wet, I've been doing hair for around about 16 years now. It's the only thing I've done since I left school. It's been an incredible journey, and I'm so happy to be part of this amazing team and give it to Pop Steph any questions you need to know. She'll get it through to me, and I'm excited for this. So yeah, the Vanguard. It's my favorite haircut in the collection. Um, it is one of those classical cuts that always looks good. It's basically a shear cut. It's a diagonal transition. And the tools I'll be using is just my comb, my shears, my blending shears, a vent brush, and yeah, that's more or less it. So to get started, I always like to wet the hair. I put a little bit of hair tonic inside my water bottle. It just breaks down a little bit of excess product, gives it a nice smell around in the shop, and a little bit refreshing here in nice warm South Africa. So it's really a top product for us to use, and I really love it. So what I usually do is I wet the hair, make sure the hair is all wet so I can see if there's any crowns or anything that we need to look out for during the haircut. Um, yeah, it's obviously important to assess every client. Always a good consultation and a nice little prep with the wet hair just to see what's going on. I've got a cool model today. His hair's nice and long. Especially with the Vanguard, of course, you need a little bit of that lens to work with. So basically, with this nice salt and pepper, it's a really nice flow to it and a slight wave. I think products can really turn this haircut on. So yeah, the hair's nice and wet. I've checked for any crowns, anything funky. It looks all good to me. I'll move on to the primary parting. Primary parting is generally inside of our zone 2, which is just across from the temple there. Generally it's zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, and then zone 4 would be the top. So I take it from temple to temple. I mean, with all our usual haircuts in the collection, I think it's always important to make sure you section nice and neatly. I think it always benefits the stylist to make sure the haircut has a plan. Don't just want to go in there and be too crazy without a plan because you won't be able to guarantee a nice end result. I generally take my time with this section because I know it's going to be very important moving forward. So I'm right-handed. I'll generally always start on the right-hand side. That's my more dominant side, and I come through the middle. As you can see, I've taken it from temple around to the middle of the crown. I got my brother as the cameraman, so please, guys, let me know if the view is good, if you want me to change it a little bit up, if you want to look at a better angle. Please just give me a shout. We can always make it happen for you guys. So yeah, you see, this is why it's an important step to actually wet the hair first. Gives you that flexibility, gives you that pull, gives you enough to work with. The cameraman will do a nice little walk around now so you can see the full exposure of the primary parting. So you'll go from the temple all the way around, separating the crown, going towards the other side. There we go. So yeah, that's obviously beneficial to have a mirror in front of you, just to make sure everything's even and everything's looking good. Once you're happy with that section, you can move over to the next step. Now what you're going to do is you're going to go create the baseline. The baseline is essentially also a place where everything is going to come towards this haircut. In other words, you can also call it a guideline if you want to go that route. But yeah, the baseline is very important for all our haircuts in our collection. I'm happy with the shape, happy with the angle. We'll move on. Right, so once you've done the primary portrait, we're going to establish the baseline. As I said, I'm right-handed, so I'll start on the right-hand side of the haircut. If you're left-handed, you start on the left-hand side and you work your way to a less dominant side. I like to start above the ear. This is generally the widest part of the head. So we'll start there to our front section and we'll carry on going towards the back. I think this length to create the baseline is under your own discretion. Depends on how long the haircut is. So what I'll do is go from the widest part of the head, nice parallel sections, good firm grip. You want to be able to balance a marble on there. Keep it parallel to the floor. I'll take around about 1.5 centimeters, 2 centimeters off. Nice hard lines. You want to be able to keep this flow throughout the whole haircut. When moving towards the front, you want to slightly bring it a little bit out, just because the head bends forward. You want to make sure you're keeping the line nice and even. So I'll pull that a little bit out, keeping everything horizontal, parallel to the floor, good strong firm grip. You're working up straight, you're working with your body nice and straight, good firm grip, and you always want to be working towards your chest. It keeps you available with the best consistency, and obviously with every haircut you want to keep that consistency going. So again, nice grip, following my guideline, taking the same amount off, keeping it parallel to the floor. Enough grip, enough tension to balance the marble right on top of the ear. I like to work all the way to the middle of the back, right here above the temple. Then I'll move over to the widest part of the head again, on the other side of the head. Again, good tension, walking towards the chest. Slightly pull it outwards when it gets to the front, just because you want to make sure we're keeping it even throughout. We don't generally do a lot of haircuts in this country. A lot of the clients seem to do a bit more shorter haircuts. So I always enjoy when I do get a haircut, a little bit longer hair, gives us a little bit more room to play with. And yeah, it's a lot more fun for us. So we get to experiment a lot more when it comes to longer haircuts. So when we do get one in the shop, we really, really enjoy it. Always working towards your chest, keeping it nice and steady. Now that I've gone around the whole perimeter line, making my baseline, I always like to check, double check how the length is. I always prefer to make sure that I'm working evenly before moving on to the next step. I feel if you don't do that, you can end up being stuck at the end of the haircut, or you try and force it, where I think rather fix any error or any difference in the length while you're busy on that step, instead of moving on and getting lost in the end. Cool. I'm happy with that. Right. So once you duplicate those steps, it's time to connect the transition. Now, with the Vanguard, you want to just use the shear cut, obviously a scissor cut, you want to make sure that you are using the baseline that you've just created as your guideline. We'll do diagonal sections. You can just see there, diagonal sections would obviously be that way. And with our next few steps, we'll be going cutting towards that angle. Now, it also depends on how comfortable you want to feel. For me personally, I always like to start with my fingers up, pointing towards the sky. This gives you enough grip. Making sure you get nice clean sections. Finding the original baseline and cutting that nice diagonal angle. Again, making sure you follow this section by section. Make sure you give a little bit of extra spray just to keep my sections clean. Please cover the client's eyes. Yeah, that's great. I like to use the fine tooth part of my comb. Gives you more control. As you can see, when it comes to episode, as you can see, taking the sections nice and clean. Fingers towards the sky. Finding that guideline. Now this technique will obviously create a nice flow with that diagonal section in. It creates a nice movement, as you can see, that's started to begin. So we'll follow that step throughout, meeting in the middle. I'll come through the other way. We'll leave the bottom panel for a little bit later. Again, straight onto that baseline, following our baseline, keep it nice and tight, nice and tidy. Please, guys, I always believe, like, when you're doing the haircut, feel free to move the client's head to make sure you're getting the best flexibility for your haircut. There's no point worrying too much about how the client is. You know, you want to make sure the client gets a great haircut. I think it's always important to be in control of that haircut. Again, nice clean sections, flowing through, always following the guideline. Cutting nice and clean, straight up, keeping that diagonal angle. Just a little bit of double checking in between. Little way. Once we get to the middle, I'm going to go towards the left-hand temple and work my way back towards the center. Okay, you ready? Yeah. So what we'll do now is repeat what we did on that side, on this side. On the right-hand side, my more dominant side, my fingers was towards the sky. Now I'll be putting my fingers towards the ground. It just feels more comfortable for me. It's always an easier way to find that flexibility as well. I feel like you're in more control of the hair. And again, you know, I think it's very important. You want to be in control of the hair all the time.
Hey,
You
Renaldo.
don't want to be loose. Yes, Steph, what's up?
Looking good. Just wanted to let you know we got people checking in and watching from Denver, Tucson, Poland,
Nice.
Chicago. Yeah, it's looking good. The quality of I know it
Good.
seems a little choppy with the Wi-Fi a little bit right now, but hopefully it works its way out. But looking good, buddy.
Cool. Thank you. What's up to all my viewers? What's happening? I hope Chicago's Josh, a fellow Scumbassador. But no, it's good to hear that there's people watching. Welcome. Please, again, feel free to speak to Steph. It's nice to have viewers. It's always nice that education is a big part of our industry, and I'm glad to see people are still interested in education. It's very important that we keep our education strong. It just develops the industry, keeps everyone interested, keeps your fellow competitors on their toes as well, keeps everyone ready. So yeah, I think it's beautiful how the industry's kept on growing, and I mean it's one of the oldest industries in the world. So to be part of the industry and to be part of a beautiful brand like Reuzel, I think it's amazing for all of us to have this opportunity, and with a nice Facebook Live and all sources of education that you can get nowadays, it just keeps everyone on their game. So yeah, thanks to everyone watching, even from Poland. That's cool. But yeah, welcome. It's funny because I've been doing hair for so long, and I've been doing these training these haircuts as well. But all of a sudden, when you have to do a Facebook Live, you get a little bit nervous in the beginning. But once you start, you realize it's just another haircut. You've got to enjoy yourself and get your personality out there. So I think for anyone that's learning and using education, you also got to put yourself out there. Be confident in your skills and enjoy the ride. Cool. As you can see, I'm just following the same steps, keeping it together, following the same steps, getting that baseline in there, bringing it down, nice and sharp. Again, fingers towards the ground. On that side, my fingers were towards the sky, now towards the ground. Following that baseline, that guideline, right up into that baseline. Stretching. Thank you. Cool. Yeah. Once I get to the middle section, just want to kind of clean it up, make sure it's all looking good. It's feeling good. Nice. All right, cool. So once you've done that step, we'll obviously have to do the nape area, the neckline. So I'll just follow that exact guideline. I've done only the top part of that section. We'll move into the zone, bottom zone, and we'll just join it into our zone 2. So we're taking from that zone 2 into the zone 1. As I'm building my sketch here, it's really cool that you get to have that flow there. And I think our Reuzel education and our family, the way we do things is pretty nice and simplified. Everything has a bit of a purpose. But once you get used to those techniques, it just kind of opens up your eyes to how simplified you can do it. It's still having an exciting and stylish haircut without overthinking too much, just following the guidelines that we set for you guys. It's a really amazing thing that there's so many ways to do haircuts nowadays, and we all get to the same end result somehow. So always find that way that you feel comfortable with. You just have a turn around the haircut, just a little bit. You don't see there. So yeah, that's it. Just to backtrack slightly, we've done the primary parting. We've then established the baseline. We've connected the baseline to the perimeter hairline. We duplicated those steps on the opposite side. We've then connected the transition, and now we will get on towards the top length. Oh, let me just get this way open. All right. So now once we sprayed a little bit of a spray grooming tonic, again, that's going to give you a little bit of a purchase. Allow me to work on this hair. Once we get to the top length here, it'll be nice to connect this transition. The spray grooming tonic is a little bit lighter than the grooming tonic. I find it much more flexible inside the shop. I think for my clients that buy and take it home, I like the spray grooming tonic because it's a little bit less powerful. I mean, I do believe it's a lot easier to work with. Obviously, a little bit of thermal protection in there. Also has a great smell to it. It's nice and light, so clients don't get to use too much of it and start feeling too sticky. I think as a barber, it's also nice to have it in the shop because it gives you a lot of play, gives you some movement, and you can stay in control of the hair. So I really enjoy that. So to connect the transition now, we move along with the top. Again, when you cut in the top, I think it's always nice to use the barber chair, use whatever chair you use in, make sure you use it to your benefit. If you need to be seeing the top, it's always nice to drop the chair a little bit lower so you can actually work with the clients here. You don't want to be working too high or too low. So always make yourself sure that you're comfortable so you can carry on working from step to step. Sorry. You can just set in this angle here. It's fine. Yeah, I'll tell you too. All right, cool. For now, this top section in, you always want to find out what's the highest point of the head. And that's generally where the crown will start. So I can see my flows over here. Slightly that will create my crown. So I will just take that just a little bit higher. Again, you can see how the spray grooming tonic allows so much control over the hair. It's a beautiful product to use as a pre-cut or as a cutting tool, especially when you're doing cuts like this, the shears only. You need a little bit of that help to keep that section in neat and tidy. So yeah, spray grooming tonic for me is definitely a go-to. Again, another nice smell in it. So I generally start sectioning that crown off first, from the middle of the head, take it straight down towards the temple. Again, when sectioning the hair, don't be scared to remodel or resection if your sections aren't even, if you're not happy with it. Always be sure to be happy with your first step before moving to the next step. All right, so what you want to kind of look for in this, have a look here. Actually, I'm going to grab that camera for a few seconds. What's up, guys? So the look that you're trying to go for is obviously that kind of shape that you're looking for. You've got the crown, you've got the side panel, and the front. So in order to get this nice overall finish, that's the kind of look you want to be going for. Again, like I said before, make sure you got the right angle of the head. Make sure you put that section on the highest part of the head, going towards the nape. At that corner as well. Nice clean sections thanks to the spray grooming tonic. Nice strong front section. Cool. Let's give it to my brother there. Thank you. All right, awesome. So I'll be starting with the crown. Again, right-handed. I like to work towards my stronger side. So once you've done this section, you want to be taking horizontal sections. through that part in. Keep it nice and tidy. Again, good strong work towards your chest, parallel sections. Separate that again. Find my baseline. That's why it's so important to make the primary protein where you want it to be, you know, because our Reuzel haircuts in this collection all kind of need to have that nice baseline just to keep that strong structure. Bring it right back down. I'll repeat it on the center, and I'll move slightly on the left. I don't generally use any clips in my haircuts, but I feel if you want to have a more comfortable effect and you feel like you're going to be more in control with using clips or anything like that, I mean, I don't think it's a bad thing. I think, you know, do whatever you need to do to make it more comfortable for yourself. And if the client's hair is long and it gets in the way, then yeah, of course, why not? You know, there's always wrong and right to everything, but I think with haircutting, it's always nice that we have those options. Take this section up down here. All right, moving on to this way. Same thing, just following the step, horizontal section in, just to follow down towards that baseline. Keep it nice and steady. Again, always following the guideline. Strong baseline. My client's got such nice hair to do this haircut.
Hey, Renaldo, that's some clean sectioning you got in there. Just wanted to jump in and
Thank you, Steve.
talk to our viewers today. Does anybody have any products that they'd like to maybe see Renaldo use, or maybe share some love and tell us what your favorite Reuzel products are? Hit in the comment or question, and I'll be sure to relay it over to Renaldo. Looking good.
Thank you, Steph. Yeah, as I say, the section is very important. You know, I think it's one of those things where it helps you throughout the whole haircut as well. You know, you're going to stay structured, stay in control, and that's why I say, you know, I don't mind using a bit more water if I need to, a bit more spray, grooming tonic. This is my haircut, so I want to be in control at all times. You know, I think it's just going to help you. So I'll start on this side. Again, using a little bit of that spray grooming tonic just to help you with anything that you need. Once again, bringing everything down, straight down to that baseline. Nice clean sections following step by step, bringing it all around. As you can see, during the haircut, you'll always see that shape starting to develop. It's one of my favorite feelings. You know, generally as well, if the hair's not coming there, it's probably not long enough to be there, and that's fine. You don't really need it. So this is no need to panic if the section doesn't fit through. So I'll start it again on my dominant side, or come around to my next side. I think my model is still okay. You still okay, Damon? I think he's fell asleep already, so that's fine. Alright, cool. As you can see, just the first section had nice flow towards the diagonal way. All right, cool. Now we're going to join the front. Just close your eyes, yeah. A little bit more spray green tonic just to keep my flexibility going. All right, now I think also this section is quite important. Of course, with our haircut here, the Vanguard, we would like to keep this as our longest point. So you want that front panel, this front section to be the longest point of your haircut. This obviously is going to enable us to have that nice quiff going backwards. So yeah, always make sure you leave this as your longest point, and you can always work towards a nice shape. All right, again, same control. So I'll just take my sectioning, again, parallel to my original section, taking it horizontally across that, keeping it parallel. Now I know there's going to be too much hair for this section, so what I want to do is just take it down from there. Now work my way back. Straight, please, thank you. Now again, you want to be putting it outward. You don't want to be putting it sideways. You're going to take too much weight away. I mean, take too much length away. So you want to be putting it towards the front, just to enable a nice trim. You know, this is going to be also give us a protection. I'm not taking too much length off. I'll cut it horizontal on that line. And a nice length for me to work with. And again, you know, you want to try and keep that length as long as possible. Now, follow that step on this way. You won't take too much of these ones generally, especially if it's a return client. It's always nice when it's a new client because you can establish all that length you want from the beginning. Again, if nothing's coming out, you don't need it. You don't need to force cutting something to be cut. Sweet. Happy with that? Once you've done 2 moves that way, move on to the other side and repeat. You know, again, once there's no in the steps, it's just about repetition, making sure you get that same direction onto that haircut. Essentially, you'll create that nice V shape in the front. Nice clean horizontal section. Yeah, bring it away from the face. Making sure you establish that length. I'll give his head a little bit of shake. So that's all good. Now what you're going to do now is going to establish the top lens. Once you connect to this transition, now it's just to establish the top lens. Now this should obviously be from the front panel towards the crown. You want to almost have like a ramp effect. So you want to be going down to that kind of angle towards this way. Your longest point once again being the fringe and taking it down towards the crown. This would enable that nice shape that we look for in the Vanguard. Yeah, again, establishing the lens up to you, but we would always want that front piece to be the longest point of the haircut. I start in the middle and slightly work my way towards the middle again. I just find it's an easier way to do it. And yeah, like I say, you know, this is where you establish the top length. Keep it nice and clean, nice and tidy. You want to make sure this is your longest point. Ramp effect going down as we go along. I'll pull everything towards the middle, making sure I'm following those sections again, keeping the ramp effect shape. Again, you know, you put it towards the middle. If it all falls down, wasn't meant to join anyway. So, yeah, thank you. Just double checking the sections are nice and clean. All right, cool. I've established the top length. I'm going to be doing the blow dry now. Has anyone recommended anything? I've got the fiber gel in mind. Has that been recommended?
We don't have any recommendations at this point, but I want to see the fiber gel. I think that's going to give you some nice volume.
Perfect. Yeah. Well, this is my fiber gel. I was hoping someone said it because I was planning on using this one. So yeah, you know, at the end of the day, guys, for me, this is the most underrated gel around. This gel can be used as a blow dry lotion, a styling cream, a styling paste. You know, this for me is such a flexible product as well. I don't apply too much, but it gives you such nice control when you start doing the blow dries. It gives a nice hold. It enables a lot of volume. So sorry, it might be a little bit noisy with the hair dryer coming along, but yeah, I've applied it. Make sure you go from root to tip. You know, get that product in there. You don't want to just put it on the surface. You want to be getting it straight in there. And yeah, I'll be using my vent brush. That's what I generally start with. So yeah, with the vent brush and making sure that product is all in there. Making sure my client's head is going from left to right. For those of you. And already with that shape, you can kind of see, you know, inside of see they've got that good square shape there, length to work with, nice and controlled. Just gonna come on this side, grab my head on. All right, another important one. When we are using the hair dryer, it's always important to start from the back and work your way towards the front. I find sometimes if you work in the front, by the time you get to the back, this wet hair is changing your direction. So it's always better to kind of start from the back and work your way towards the front. I like to get the sides done, get the sides in shape. As I'm doing this, I'm already looking to see, okay, once I grab my blending shears, where am I going to go? What areas do I feel need a little bit of customization, you know? Since you're doing the sketch first, you get that overall shape, and that's what I've been busy doing, getting that shape, following the sketch. But once you dry it, the hair's going to be acting a little different, especially with someone with a bit of a wave. So, yeah, as you dry, feel the hair, make sure you're going through the hair and all the areas that you want to be going through. Again, if you find a blow dry brush a little bit easier, a small round brush a little bit easier, I don't have a problem with you doing that. Whatever you feel more comfortable doing. I use a bent brush. I find I can get through a lot more hair, and I find I have a bit more control. Also, I find in the barber shop it's a lot easier to get around. With that fiber gel, it's giving you that nice grip, giving you that instant control, and it's keeping my hair in shape as well. As you can see, I'm just flowing it straight where that hair is supposed to be, holding my haircut. That's all fun. Take that down the shoulder. So as you can see, while I'm taking it, I'm taking straight into that bent brush, getting it in, creating that movement, making sure I get that root. That's why I put the fiber gel from root to tip. You want to be getting in to that hair, right at the bottom, bending over, using your hand, stay flexible. Another nice touch is obviously doing this with quite medium heat, medium strength, and then you end it off just with that nice cold burst that just sets that hair into that position. Yeah, just put that on the right shoulder. Open the client, everyone can see. I'm going to show you that they've got that on that angle. See, yeah, there we go. Follow through, straight on that bent brush, keeping that straight. And then a little cold blast, just to set it. I'm still going to be getting involved in my belly shears, but of course, at this point, you want to have this haircut in shape. sides, but absolutely amazing hair. Okay. Yeah, you're gonna build up the volume. Building that volume, building that shape. Again, starting from your back, going to building myself towards the front. Bring it towards myself to create that volume. I think this is a fun haircut for any client to get because they can style their top any way they want. If they want to put a part in it, essentially they can. It's all up to the client, but it gives us a nice square flexibility. And the reason I chose this Vanguard is because I think with this client's hair type and color, it's a beautiful flow. Again, as you're doing the blow dry, you kind of see there you need a little bit of blending shears to refine all those beautiful sections that we created. And there we go, making sure the blending passing in. It's okay to exaggerate it because you are going to be messing around with the product. So I'd rather have too much volume than too little. So yeah, I don't mind exaggerating it. Keeps the clients out sometimes, but the result is very good in the end. I'd rather have it exaggerated and a lot more volume to work with. So once you apply the product, you'll have a bit more movement. As you can see, that fiber gel is just giving you that proper hold, nice weight of it. You can see that slight rand formation. You can see how the hair is kind of sticking, doing what I wanted to do. The shape is beautiful. So yeah, I think, using that fiber gel gives you so much more control and the ability to do this kind of thing.
Looking good, Renaldo. That is some beautiful shape and volume you got going on. Nice job.
All right, so I put that product in. I've blow dried the fiber gel in there. Now I'm just going to refine those lower sections. I'll be using the blending shears for that one. I think the blending shears is nice, a little bit safer. You can also, if you want to get involved a little bit more with the normal shears, that's also okay. This for me, I do a lot with by feel and by look. I don't think there's a need to get all technical and get too much of that nitty-gritty sections because we should have done that previously. So for now, it's all about that feel, what's not looking good, what I can work with. So yeah, generally it says lower sections, kind of get in touch with this hairline, put everything neatly. I'll grab my shears to make some finishing as well. First, I want to take my blending shears and just make those little imperfections perfect. Any areas where I feel can use a little bit of refining just to kind of give that little bit of finish. Steph, our viewers keen to tell me what product they should style the final product with.
I don't have anything right now, but what about a little bit of a matte finish? Maybe the
Matte
extreme
finish,
or
okay.
yeah.
Extreme sounds good. Yeah, I can do the extreme. I find the extreme is a good one for this one. I generally play around with the extreme or the fiber pomade with this one, so I'll use the extreme today. One of our strongest holds, so I think that's also a good one. So yeah, just refining that sections over there, making sure it's nice and clean, making sure the weight is nicely distributed. You know, this is a time where you can be a little bit more creative and put your own little flair into the haircut. Because that sketch is in there, you got that full shape, you know that your sections are all in a good place. So now you can just refine it to yourself. There's obviously a lot of ways to also thin the hair, to blend the hair in like that. Find again what you feel more comfortable with. Again, I just use a bit of feel. You can see because of that fiber gel, even though I'm going through the hair, look how much volume is still stuck in there. So that fiber gel plus a good blow dry gives you so much support. Even though I'm working through the hair, working towards a texturing it out, creating a little bit of more flavor into the haircut. You know, with that product being blow dried in, plus a little bit of spray grooming tonic as my base, it's giving me so much play here. Even though I'm combing through, I've still got so much play to work with. You didn't want to take away too much from that shape. Just want to soften out what you think can use a little bit of extra loving. I won't get too carried away in the fringe. I like the hard lines. You don't want to take away from the ramp shape either. Yeah, I'm pretty much doing a little bit of a cross-checking kind of style as well. Messing my sections around, putting something away, putting it backwards. Just kind of getting that nice shape in. A lot of feel again. How's the cameraman's hands feeling there? It's gonna cost me a few beers to have this cameraman, yeah. Cool. Yeah, you see, so I'm super happy with that shape. Just want to show you there. So you can see, it's got that beautiful shape in, it's got some good hold, it's flexible, you can take it up, pull it forward, whatever you want to do. He's got all that volume stuck in there. And me refining these sections now, I'm just going to take my shears and just kind of clean up the hairline. And then we'll apply that product to finish it off. That's good. All right, cool. So I'll just start on the right-hand side. Again, my most dominant side. Clean up the hairline. I've seen stylists also use a bit of a detail or anything like that, to make it a bit more cleaner. I prefer with the shear cut just to keep it shear cut. Again, it's completely up to you. I'll probably just clean up the neckline slightly with the detailer. Just come over my right shoulder. Yeah, there we go. Just finishing off that detail. Making sure I don't take his ear off. Right? Yeah. Making sure the neckline is nice and even. I think I'll just go down here, stay on my shoulder. Okay. Straighten it, thank you. Yeah, so this is just finishing touches, finishing off the haircut, putting a little bit of customization, making sure it's nice and clean. Take a step back, make sure it's all even. I'll do my favor here, just getting the best materials. Not touching the hairline too much, just keeping my shape that I usually build with the shears. All right, cool. So for the last two products I'm going to be using today, I'll be grabbing the Extremo, getting that nice matte finish. And because I use my clipper on the neckline, I'm going to finish off with a nice cool minty astringent foam. You want to make sure you're keeping these lids nice and tight. I work my way around the sides towards the middle. 1 knuckles, 2 knuckles, however you do it. I apply the product nice and thick. You know, you want to rub it into your hands. You want to make sure it looks like you just put your hands on a wall of paint. That's the kind of image you want to have in your head when taking the product in. Again, root to tip. I start more or less towards the back and work my way towards the front. Any excess hair, any excess product, I'll put in the front. Extreme hold, nice matte finish, great strong hold. So one of our very popular products in the shop as well. I think with our climate in South Africa, it's a very powerful product. And I think anywhere in the world, really, if you want a nice good hold and a nice matte finish, it's a lovely touch to use. If you feel like you need more, add more. Again, root to tip, making sure you apply that throughout the hair. Now, for your final styling touches, I generally use a comb with steel tips like this. For me, it gets through the hair quite nicely. You can use a wide tooth comb if you feel that's better, but yeah, I find this gives me a lot more flexibility and enables me to get straight down to that root. Again, I work my way from the back towards the front. You want to make sure you're giving that hair all that loving care and lifting it up. Because we put product on the root, this will enable us to get that product out of there. With a nice front view of the client. Yeah, as you can see, that's the kind of shape we're looking for.
Nice job. That is fantastic shape, Renaldo.
Thank you very much, Steph. Yeah, and you know, the extreme mold gives you a nice play, you know, with the fiber gel. I think it's such a great combination. And you know, with our products, we can mess around with it, we can find our winning combos. I would say the extreme hold plus the fiber gel for me, if you want to be in control with a nice haircut like a Vanguard, you know, a scissor cut in our collection, I would say that is such a nice, powerful product to use.
Definitely, and that's going to keep shape all day.
Yeah, shame. I think he doesn't have to wash his hair for the next 2 weeks. I think we'll stay like that. Cool. Yeah. Okay, let's have another look at the front. Yeah, you see, so it's got the nice shape. I'll stand behind to see that shape. He can move it around. It's nice and even. It's got that nice volume in there as well. You can comb it around. It's going to keep shape. Yeah, I think it's a great outcome. I like the shape here. If you get that side profile, you know, you want to have that nice clean swoop on that side profile. You can push it or pump it up a little bit more if you want to. You know, because we have that ramp effect, it's given that nice flow towards the cut. Right, for the Shuja foam, this is just to cool off the neck time. I use a clipper. When using the Shuja foam, just use it upright. You don't need to turn it down. Don't think it's going to make a full effect. Rather just use it upright. You don't need to shake it either. That just creates a nice minty finish. Smells good. And yeah, I love finishing off all my products, all my cuts with that. Steph, any questions while we finish off? You all good?
Yeah, looking amazing. Just got lots of love out there. And great job. Renaldo, this was your first Facebook Live, yeah?
This is my first Facebook Live. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, it's my first one.
Ooh, you killed it. It looks great. Absolutely fantastic.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Let me grab this. yeah, so I think it's been a cool journey. It's been an exciting day for me. I was a little bit nervous, but I think it came out pretty good. So
Absolutely.
yeah,
Couldn't tell at all. You
there
did
we go.
good. All
Thank you
right.
very much, Steph.
And thank you all for joining us for a little part of your day today. We appreciate the love, and I'm sure Ronaldo loves it too. So thanks. And always come and check us
Thank
out,
you.
Reuzel.com. You can come down and check out our Denver Academy and work hands-on with our fantastic Scumbassadors. So thanks all. Have a beautiful day.
Cool.
See you soon.
Thank you, Steph. Cool. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.